just wait a few minutes. Let me try to send a link to some people. I just did an impromptu live on Instagram about the whole Ric Flair issue.
Yeah, that's heartbreaking and disappointing, but well, right is wrong is wrong.
Right. Sucks.
I heard Goldust did some not so nice things too.
Well, like what? I don't remember hearing that. I know that he didn't want to be interviewed, right?
Yeah, because there was another stewardess that was on that flight, and it's alleged that Goldust felt her up too.
Oh, really? Okay, I know there was something there, but I didn't get the full message. That's crazy.
It's alleged. It's not. What you call it. It hasn't been confirmed or denied.
It hasn't been proven. He's not proven guilty. Yeah.
Yeah. Because the other stewardess wouldn't speak on it, so.
All right. Well, we're gonna get this started. What's up, guys? You already know it's your favorite Jedi, BMF Goddess. I'm here today with my co-host Jason. How do you pronounce your last name? So I don't know if I say it right.
Jason Gallier.
Jason Gallier, better known as Ink Custom Shoes.
I7X Inc.
Yes. So, I want to thank you, Jason, for joining us today. Guys, Jason is an entrepreneur like myself, and he also specializes in shoe customs like myself, or one of the things that I do. And he's pretty fucking awesome at it. And I invited him here so he could share his story and we could get talking about entrepreneurial stuff. So Jason, please introduce yourself, where you from, and how'd you get into this business?
Thank you for having me once again. My name is Jason Gallier. I have a lot of nicknames. I'm originally from Washington, D.C., born and raised. But I migrated to the East Flatbush section of Brooklyn, New York when I was 13 years old.
Okay.
And prior to that, I practically lived all over the world, you could say.
Wow. You've done a lot of traveling, like to what places?
Yeah. I've been to Paris. I've been to London.
Wow.
I lived in Jamaica for about 3 years.
That's awesome. Well, was it like a good thing for you? Because I know sometimes moving around so much kind of stresses people out. Was it a good thing for you growing up that you were able to travel?
You have to take the bad with the good.
Right.
If you think about it, because I got to experience different cultures and got to see how good I have it. Because there's kids in other countries that they literally have to pay money out of their pocket just to do something as simple as go to the library and get a book to read. So
right.
It made me appreciate little things. And then it's like,
understand that, yeah.
It makes you appreciate what little things. But how did I get into shoe customizing? Most people don't know this, but I am a fashion designer by trade. I also do music, but fashion design is what I went to school for. It's what I've always wanted to do since I was a kid.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
But as we know, the fashion industry is kind of like the music industry. It's an all-boys club. and there are quote unquote gatekeepers in the business.
Oh, okay.
And it's even, I hate to say this, but it's even tougher for designers that are people of color.
Right.
It's tougher, but I wouldn't let that discourage me.
Absolutely no.
So, about 10 or so years ago, my mom, because I was looking for work when I was fresh out of college. I was still in college, as a matter of fact. I was
and a college grad. Congrats to you.
I was looking for work that fit my skills.
Right.
It got to the point where it was a bad joke. Like, people were like, okay, you have the talent, but you don't have the experience we need, or basically they just didn't want me. So it was to the point, it's like, you know what, I'm going to just give up this stuff and get a regular job.
And you know what's really fucked up about that, Jason, is that how the fuck are you supposed to gain any experience? Most people want to have it already. Like, that makes no sense.
Exactly. So, my mom, she had a friend from Trinidad, and she saw some of my sketches and saw some of the things, like some of the sculptures I would make, and she was like, why don't you get him in with the people at Carnival that make the West Indian Day Carnival costumes? Now, I didn't know the first thing about Carnival because it wasn't my thing at the time. Keyword at the time. Because I thought that they bring the designers from Trinidad here, and then they make the costumes, and then they go back to Trinidad. That's what I thought. So when they first got me into it, I said, you know what, let me go to every individual group, which are called mass camps, where they sell the costumes and produce the costumes, just to see what I'm signing myself up for. The year that they told me to go, I missed the recruitment by a week and a day. So I was really frustrated. But it basically was like, it did me a favor, because it's like it gave me more time to do research and learn who is who. So when I introduce myself, I could be like, okay, I'm familiar with your work. I know what you do. You work with these people over here. Because some people, if they introduce themselves to you and you don't know who they are, they get offended.
Right.
So,
absolutely.
So, the following year, there was a particular group called Sesame Flyers. They were like the first mass camp to open in New York. And they've been around for 50 years. So, I called every day for 3 months, back to back to back, to ask if the designer come. Did the designer come? To the point they knew I was calling. They would ask how my mom's doing, how's my day. Like, that's how familiar we got.
Nice.
And they never met me. So one day, I guess they said, you know what, let's put him with someone so he'll stop calling. They said, okay, we have 2 designers here that are going to be here on Wednesday night. Come down, meet them, bring your portfolio, and see who you want to work with. We're going to give you the choice of who you would like to work with. I never got out of a house fast enough. I ironed my suit. I got my portfolio. My neighbor, who never seen me in a suit and tie, were like, where are you going? Because she didn't recognize me. I said, I'm going for a job. And I wasn't dressing for the job I was getting. I was dressing for the job I wanted.
Yeah.
So I got down to Sesame Flyers, and that's when I finally met the 2 guys that literally changed my life. Akin Ross and Caprice Connors. Now, Akin was very busy. Like, he asked me what's my national background, who my people, like, to know who I am.
Yeah.
But Caprice, the questions he asked me, it's like, okay, this isn't all that you do. I know that you have some background in fashion. Come to find out, he had more than 20 years of experience in fashion. And he had an annual fashion show where he features specifically young fashion designers and people who don't get the spotlight.
Okay.
So when they brought me in, he let it be known to me. It's like, look, I don't have the time to really teach, so you're going to have to learn on the fly. And I'm not going to lie, the first year was bitter work, but now you could say it did me well. But how I got into shoe customizing, because when I decided I wanted to make costumes, it's like, okay, I'm not ready for that responsibility because there's a lot about the business I didn't know yet.
Yeah.
So let me start small and build myself up. So when I decide to put out a design, people can say, "Oh, I know who this guy is. I'm familiar with his work, and he comes from a reputable source."
Mm-hmm.
So when I first decided to do shoes, I was doing the free phone thing, where they get the people that sign you up for the free phone from Assurance Wireless.
Okay.
And I was frustrated at my job. I was really frustrated because it's like, this isn't what I do. I'm putting up with a lot of things that I normally would not tolerate over a paycheck that wasn't even enough to buy a weekly bus pass to come to work.
Yeah.
So when the big Toys R Us, I don't know if you remember the big Toys R Us in Times Square that closed down, unfortunately.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
There was a guy on the basement floor. He airbrushed sneakers. He airbrushed t-shirts and hats. The trucker hats.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He had his little space, and he did those, right?
Right.
And someone bumped into him, and he spilled the paint on my sneaker. And
shit.
he thought I would have got upset. I was like, no, I saw what happened. It's not your fault. So I saw how the paint looked on my sneaker. I'm like, how much did that compressor cost you? So I started talking to him and, getting information. And that's when I was like, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to customize shoes. So
nice.
I saved up my little money, got a compressor, bought paint here and there, and I just practiced.
Explain to the audience what a compressor does.
A compressor is basically the machine that pumps air into the airbrush gun itself. So that's the machine that gives you, that's how the airbrush guns work.
Right.
You have the portable ones, and then you have the ones that you have to plug in.
Yeah.
Who are power source. But originally, I started off jeweling shoes and just spray painting them with regular spray paint. And when I decided to do shoes, it's like, okay, I want to do shoes, but I want to do it in a way that nobody on the carnival scene is doing it like how I'm doing it. I'm the only person that can give you that look. I don't care who does it. One thing I learned from Caprice is I don't care who does it after me as long as I do it first.
Right. Okay.
I don't care. Because it's forever. One thing about fashion and the carnival scene, one thing that they haven't. Yeah.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, finish. I apologize.
I said one thing about, no problem, because I tend to ramble. One thing about the fashion scene, and the fashion scene and the carnival scene is it's for everybody. So, at one point in time, everybody saw somebody's work and did their rendition of what that person did.
Right.
So you can't really just say, "Oh, you can't do it because that's me. That's what I do." You can't really say that.
Yeah, because a lot of people do, take inspiration from other things, and I don't think people should take offense to that. Don't go and directly copy my shit and then don't, but
pay homage. Yeah, there's a lot of people who copy people's style and don't pay homage. Nicki Minaj, but that's another story.
Thank you. I was just talking about that heifer. I don't like her either.
I pulled her hip hop card years ago.
Before, when she was still underground, I didn't like her. And
I pulled her hip hop.
I was just like, oh God.
I pulled her hip hop card when she basically helped the world bully Iggy Azalea out of music entirely. Then she went and threatened Miley Cyrus, of all people. Then you threatening Mariah Carey when she used to be on what's it name? What's that show name?
She could never touch. Fucking Mariah Carey's the GOAT, period.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, Mariah has her little nasty ways, but one thing Mariah has that you don't is accolades. Like, she really earned the right to be that way. Because she put in the work and she has the classic records. You don't.
Yeah.
And Super Bass is not a classic record. It's basically like, I'd rather hear nails being dragged on a chalkboard. But what really made me pull her hip-hop card is you supposed to be the queen of hip-hop. Remy Martin called you out on record. Instead of answering her like a real MC is supposed to, you go date Nas, then you talk to Nas, go behind the scenes and get the record pulled from radio. Like, that's a sucker move.
Oh my God, wow. And I was just, me and my friend were just talking about her current issue where her fucking, her baby father, what is it, her boyfriend or whoever the fuck he is. Yeah, and she's trying to defend him being a fucking rapist. Bro.
Me personally, this is how I look at it. When she made her statement, this is what I think it is. When she made the statement about the vaccine, it's like, okay, we've seen this move before. Artists say something controversial because they probably got a new song or a new album coming out.
Yeah.
So it's like, but why would you take medical advice from someone who puts silicone and Botox in her body and didn't question what that
and has no medical background? Oh my God. I don't know what she said. Can you tell me what she said? Because I don't know.
She said, she went on Twitter. I don't either, but she went on Twitter because she's an anti-vaxxer. Okay, if you're against the vaccine, fine, whatever. But don't say flat out lies. She says a friend of hers went and got the vaccine and his testicles swelled up.
What the fuck?
You heard me. I read it twice to make sure I read what I read. I'm like,
it's so sad how dumb people are, man. And then they'll just, go along with it because she is, and people are dumb.
And the victim of her husband was on The Talk, that talk show with those ladies. It's supposed to be another version of The View. She was on The Talk, and she revealed that Nicki Minaj tried to fly her family out. She has sent people to pay her off for silence. They've been harassing her to silence her or whatever the case may be. It's like, no. And it's like, furthermore, since we're on the topic of what she said about the vaccine, why would you listen to someone that defends pedophiles and confirmed rapists? Like, why would you listen to her, of all people? But
well, thank you for bringing that to my attention because you just confirmed why I just don't dislike this person. It's terrible. That's a whole nother rabbit hole with the fucking vaccine too. It's like, people, come on.
Me personally, if you don't want to take it, fine. If you want to take it, fine. But if you don't want to take it, that's your business. But two things: don't spread false.
Be considerate of others.
Yeah, don't spread false information. And when you cough up a lung and can't breathe, don't say you weren't warned.
Exactly, because I've had loved ones and friends and their loved ones. People are really dying from this shit, and everybody's affected different. I understand the whole vaccine thing because, again, it's new. First of all, I don't know why they call it vaccine because it's not a cure, but whatever. The shot, is fairly new, and people have different systems. Nobody's system is the same, and it's had adverse effects on certain people. So I understand the hesitation, but that does not mean don't be considerate of other people, like keeping a mask on your stinking ass mouth, or not having a fucking 200 people party, and motherfuckers a friend of mine went to a wedding and everybody fucking caught it over there. Like, hello,
it's like I was
doing the most.
I was saying to someone the other day, just because you're over the pandemic doesn't mean the pandemic is over. Does not mean, just because you see people going to parties doesn't mean like, oh, pandemic's over, I can go back to whatever I used to
do. People are letting their guards down too much.
First and foremost,
around my own family with a mask on.
Like, first of all, I have an elderly mother. I was supposed to record my album year before last, right? No, last year I was supposed to record my album. I put that on hold because it's like, okay, what's the point of me going to record my music if the one person that I want to enjoy my music and say, I'm proud of you, you did a good job, can't even get up and dance to it? What's the point? So no, I'm not taking that risk. And when you see what I saw, you'll take it seriously. I saw the trailers of dead bodies from people who caught COVID. So please, I mean, I know we all gotta go, but I'm not putting myself to get a premature death.
Right, and I wouldn't want to be the cause of anybody else's death because I have, I took the vaccine and I take regular COVID tests to be safe, and I also took the antibody test, and I have a very high level of immunity, but I still wouldn't want, if I catch it, I don't even know what happened, and I give it to somebody else and they die from it. I couldn't live with that on my mind.
Exactly.
Whether people want to say this shit is real or fake, people are dying. And also, if the government wants to do anything, they could just do it. They don't need to put it in a motherfucking shot, you stupid fucks. Like, I don't get that.
Exactly. That's my main problem with my people, my Jamaican, my Caribbean people, particularly Jamaican people. Before this pandemic even started, you had these people that I call Bible thumpers. Like, I call them Bible thumpers because they're holy and religious on Sunday. Monday to Saturday, they're heathens the rest of the week.
They're ratchet and human.
They're heathens the rest of the week.
Totally. And I'm not disrespecting anyone's religion. It's just that is what it is, period. I've been in the whole church scene. I grew up in it because of my mother, and I have met some of the worst people in the motherfucking church. Thieves, cheaters, disrespectful people, just nasty, cruel people. Go to church, okay? You're no better than the rest.
Yeah, let me tell you what I did to this group of Bible thumpers a few years before the pandemic even happened. My mom had a thing. Like, when I would play metal music, she didn't like it. She didn't like what I was playing. And a lot of people have this to say about metal and that to say about metal and this to say about, the end of days are coming. There's going to be a time where we won't be able to buy food. Reading the Bible or going to church will be illegal. And they're going to put a microchip in you. And it's a mark of the beast. Yeah, all of this was said before the pandemic was even thought of, right? So, just to prove a point in church, I actually play the guitar. It's been a while since I picked it up. I played at least 3 metal songs, and you should see these people dancing in church. You should have seen them. I'm like, you do realize I'm playing Motley Crue, right? I played Black Sabbath, Motley Crue, and Judas Priest in that church. And my mom was there. And people...
That's awesome.
When people realized what I did, I told my mother, she's like,
what instruments do you play?
Just the guitar.
Oh, nice. I've always wanted to learn. You open to lessons?
I got to get back and practice myself because it's been a couple of years because my mind's been so all over the place.
Yeah.
Yeah, but back to the shoe customizing.
Yeah, you talented guy, you.
So back to the shoe customizing. So the other day during the pandemic, like everything's locked down, nobody's doing anything. My mom, what really made me go hardcore with the shoe customizing, my mom was watching the news. And my mom is the type of person that if you have a talent and you're not using it, she's not going to be happy with you. She was watching the news and she saw a guy that customizes baseball cleats for the Yankees. She does work for the. He does work exclusively for ball players, right?
So
that's all he does. He doesn't do anything else. Like his house is full of like custom work that he has to do, and he was on the news. And my mom was like, "Wait a minute, my son does the same thing. My son doesn't do. He ain't doing nothing different than my son can do." So my mom called me in there and she cursed me out. She was like, you're not on top of your game. Like, look at what he's doing. You can be doing the same thing too. He ain't no smarter than you. You actually went to school for this. Like, you've been living this for the last 10 years. Like, yo, dude, you ain't supposed to be looking for nobody's job. You don't need someone's job. People supposed to be looking for you. And I'm not gonna lie, I cried, but the next day I woke up, thought about it, I was like, yo, she's right. She was absolutely right.
That's a beautiful mother.
Yeah. My mom is the type of person that she's not a yes woman. She's not a yes woman. Like,
that's what's up. Strong, fierce women only.
My mom is the type of person that if she'll tell you straight up, and this is where I get it from, if you want blind loyalty and someone to rub your belly and tell you what you want to hear, talk to somebody else. If you want the unapologetic truth, talk to me.
Oh my gosh, she sounds like me. These are my mantras. I love it.
And that's why I'm not a yes man. Like when I see a lot of people go along with something, and when I'm like, no, I'm not doing that, it's like, you're wrong.
Facts.
And it's like, there's nothing you can do to make me back down. Like, I had a whole, this is a little peek behind the curtain of my life. I've had a group chat made to talk about me, to wish me to commit suicide, where people are sending me threats daily for a whole year. So there's not much I haven't really been through in terms of like life. And yeah, it hurt to know that all these people were, this is how people felt, but it's like, you know what? It showed me who people were. It showed me that some people that I was a friend to them, they were never my friend. And you want to know what's even hilarious? I saw two people that were involved in that, and they were all smiles with me.
Really?
Yeah, they were all smiles. They were, oh, hi, Jason. I was like, hi. I'm like, you made it.
That's how it be, though.
I'm like, you are not my friend. This isn't social media. Keep walking. And it's like, and you want to know the reason behind all that happening? Is because I told the truth about people. Basically, exactly. I told the truth about people. Like, let me go over the whole incident briefly. To make a long story longer, there was a girl who I thought was a friend, but she never was a friend. She never was. I'm not even going to say her name. It turns out, like, she's a big narcissist. She was a narcissistic person. She makes a status making reference to someone, right, that we all went to school with. Now, this girl had a reputation while we were in school for being, you know, a pass-around, so to speak. However, unlike most people, she was honest about who she was. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then people started to pile on to that. Like, people from, like, that went to school with us just started to pile on and talk trash about her. And it's like, I'm not bashing nobody publicly. I'm not going to do that, unlike you guys. But I'm going to tell the truth. It's like, okay, you're calling her a smut bag, but you're not that much better. You can call her. You can
and
you can call
that's
her.
what people do, you know. People with dirty hands love to talk shit.
Yeah, it's like how half the dudes that were talking trash about her, like, oh yeah, she's a slut, she's this, that, that. But weren't you trying to? She often talked about how a lot of y'all used to try to push your little dicks up in her. Because that, to me, that's little dick energy. Like if you, personally, if you gotta throw dirt on somebody else's name or bring up who somebody used to be,
clap it up, people. They clapping for you.
Like you are a scumbag. And then there were people that was involved. Let me see the minute. There was a person that was involved that he like me and him had an altercation before. Like he was a known gang member, and this dude made me because of him. I did not enjoy my senior year. I did not enjoy my senior year because of this guy, because he robbed me. Keep this in mind. He robbed me, right? Because of him, I spent a lot of time watching my back when I was in school, because the gang that he was a member of were dominant in that school, right? In my school. And so they all got kicked out or graduated. Majority of them, some graduated, some got kicked out, some transferred out. Whatever happened to them, who cares? They were gone. But it was to the point that, like, if I saw somebody wearing the colors of his clique, I automatically got tensed up. Even to this day, if I see somebody wearing those colors, it's like, okay, why are you here? I've never seen you before. Who sent you? In fact, I hate to say this, but because of him, people got beat up by me because I thought that he sent them. That's how paranoid I was.
Right.
So he somehow got involved in the conversation. He somehow got almost 20 years later, he got involved in this conversation. Mind you, this guy is older than me. Like because I'm 34 right now. He's damn near 40, right? Before I graduated, he got kicked out of the school or dropped out, whichever happened first. He used to pull up to the school to pick up high school freshman girls, right?
Oh my God.
Yeah. It'd be like that, right? So after the situation went down, this dude hit me up 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm asleep. If I'm not working on designs, I'm asleep at 3 o'clock in the morning. He hits me up and a private message says, I heard you got beef. What's up?
Oh my God.
Does that sound like a man? Does that sound like a grown man? Does that sound like a grown man, or does that sound like a little boy that never grew up?
A child.
Like a grown man would be like, look, I don't remember you. I hear you have an issue with me. I would like to talk to you man to man, and we can squash this like men. Or if you feel you need to get that off your chest, we can meet up, no guns, and we can square up like men, if that's how you feel. That's how a man approaches another man. You understand?
Right.
But most men are gonna say, yo, let's squash this, because whatever happened probably happened when we were young and dumb. We're grown men now. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I'm gonna say this publicly, and I really don't care if he hears it. The time you take to hit me up for beef, you go hit up the dude that gave you that $150 outside the club. The time you take to hit me up for beef, you would convince your baby mama to take you off child support. Oops, did I say that out loud? And that's all I got to say about him. Because it's like, what I learned through that experience is that miserable people, misery likes company.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And And that was in the 48 law. One thing I've read, one thing during the pandemic, because the pandemic did some good and bad, more bad than good. But I started reading more. I got back into reading, and I actually read the 48 Laws of Power. One of the 48 Laws of Power is avoid the unlucky and unhappy. Like, you know those people that are just never happy? They always miserable. They're always complaining. Like, you stay away from them.
Yeah, it'll suck the life out of you. You can play that message. You got a message up there.
All right, let me play that.
A little dick energy. Oh my god.
Little dick energy.
It is, but that is like, slut shaming has never been my style. It never has been my style. It never will be my style. Because it's like, okay,
I respect that.
Like, she's a slut, hoe, all of that, right? But when you were trying to get your rocks off, you were like, oh, you're beautiful, you're special, you're not like other girls. Stop it. And it's like, okay, and another thing, if you're gonna slut shame somebody, when you lay down with a person, whatever that person is, you are too. Because the second you stick your dick in that chick, she just became your equal. Right. So if she's a thought or a slut, you that same thought and slut too. If she's a bum, you a bum. And whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
That's how I look at that. So if you waiting on me to slut shame somebody, it's not gonna happen. But back to the customizing. So what I did was I started studying people that were in the same field as me. Like when most people got Instagram models on their page, I was looking at people who customize sneakers like me to see what
me
they
too.
do. Yeah, and I discovered this dude. He's from where I'm from, Serato. Shouts out to that guy, Serato. Like, that guy is a beast. Like, I seen his work. I studied his work. I was looking at him work on YouTube, like, because he puts his work on YouTube, him working on the shoe, and he has high-end clients. Like, he did one for LeVar Ball. He did one for Shaquille O'Neal's son. And he does, like, classic work. Like, his most popular work is Space Jam and Dragon Ball Z. So I'm trying to get to that level where he has key rings with his logo on it after he customizes a shoe. So I'm trying to get to where I can do that for people. So I started studying his work and just taking notes on little things that he does. And it's like, okay, this is how you do it. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing you did, but I'm going to do it my way. You know what I'm saying? So I did 2 shoes for myself, and they're on my website. They're available on my website. I did my rendition of Dragon Ball Z, where you see the silhouette of Broly on one shoe and the silhouette of Ultra Instinct Goku on the other, with the Dragon Ball Z sign and the Super sign on them, and it's a galaxy background. Then I did one, it's my personal favorite, which I call Social Media, where I did a shoe with all the icons for social media apps, including Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, OnlyFans. They were all over my sneakers.
Yeah.
And when people looked at it, they was like, yo, those are dope. So a friend of my mom, she saw my work, and she was like, she would like a shoe for her granddaughter. So I got excited because it's like I always wanted to do a shoe for a little kid. So she requested Paw Patrol, me to do a Paw Patrol. And I didn't realize how big Paw Patrol was until I did that sneaker. When I mean people ran out the woodwork. People was just coming out of nowhere. I did 2 shoes that made people run out the woodwork for me. I did Nickelodeon and I did Paw Patrol. So after I did the Paw Patrol, the same lady, her younger sister has 2 kids. She was like, I gotta get 2 shoes done for my kids. So she wanted Ben 10 for her son, but she wanted the Ben 10 to look like a black kid with dreads. So I'd never seen her son prior. So I did her son's shoes on a whim. When she came to pick it up, and then I looked at him, looked at the drawing, I'm like, oh my God, I sketched her son, and I didn't even know him. I've never seen the kid before, and it's like, wow. I guess it's a testament to my skill. And then her daughter, her shoes had the light up shoes. I sent you the picture of that.
Yeah.
On my rotating.
Yeah, those are hot.
Yeah, she wanted My Little Pony, but she wanted them pink. So I was like, okay, pink not a thing that's no thing because this is a little kid. So one thing I tell parents, once I do the shoes for you, be careful sending the kids to school with the shoes because I know how kids are. You show up with something that they don't have and you're the only person that have it and they look good, all you need is that one kid to say, who do you think you are? And then they're going to want to try to do something to them because of those shoes. So it's like, make sure the kid wears them when they're with you. So if somebody wants to pull a stunt, they'll have to go through you first. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I hate that that's the world we live in, but sad. So one of my favorite shoes that I did recently was a friend of mine who I went to college with. She was going to Gay Pride. I always wanted a Gay Pride customer, but I had no way of marketing and I have a lot of friends from the LGBTQ community. So I asked her if she's going, and she's like, yeah, she's making an outfit, but she doesn't know what to wear on her feet. I'm like, why don't you bring me whatever you have and I'll customize it for you? And she was like, yep, I'm supporting black businesses. So I got her shoes, went to the city, got some jewels, and I got some spikes. I didn't know what I was going to do with the spikes. And I did my first Gay Pride customer. And I did it within 48 hours. I was blown away because it's like, I never worked that fast on a shoe. Even my mom was like, wow, these are some tiny shoes. These are some tiny feet. Like, how tall is this person? I'm like, you're the same height as her, Mom. And I'm going to post the videos probably before the year is out of reaction for people who I did shoes for. When she saw it was like kids in a toy store, she was like, she's scared to wear it because it's like, these are like works of art.
Right.
I'm like,
yeah.
I'm glad.
People say that to me too. I'd be like, that's what you bought it for.
That's what you bought it. So
I think it's so funny.
And my dad, like, I did 2 custom sneakers for him, and I did one for my little sister. I gave her one piece, and I did like one with my company logo on it, and I did Lord of the Rings for him because he's a big fan of the Lord of the Rings. I got word from my younger sister that he wore the one with the logo on my sneaker, the logos, until the paint came off. He wore it every day.
Gosh.
I guess it's because he saw the value in it. And my younger sister, she was like, she loves it because it's one piece, but it's like she's scared to wear it because it was a white sneaker. It still had the white finish on it, but I just put the one piece characters on it. Like, I put the finishing of the Going Merry. I don't know if you know what that is. That's the front of Luffy's old ship. And then I put the new ship on the other sneaker, the Sunny. And then when I'm looking at the sneakers, when I look back at all the work I did, it's like, wow, did I really do this?
Oh, yeah.
I look back at it and I'm like, wow. So my mom was like,
it's a satisfying feeling, right?
Yeah, it is. My mom was like, you got to get your own website now. You got to have your own website. But we didn't know anyone that could. Yeah, I have my own website. www.
Oh, you got it now? Awesome.
Yes.
Plug us in there.
It's been up for almost a year. www.inktotheworld.com. I repeat, www.inktotheworld.com. On there, you have you have the gallery of every shoe I've done, from the very first shoe I did, which was a white Converse that I just bedazzled, up to the most recent sneaker, which was my Black Power Rhythm Nation, which was another Converse, but the lady was like, she wanted to be the black national flag with dashiki covering. And I'm like, okay, I can do that. And I wasn't sure how I was going to execute it, but it came out. I showed it to people, and they were like, wow. Like, the messages I got were hilarious that she sent me. She was like, you are amazing.
You are amazing. That's great. I'm so happy for you.
Thank you. So basically, the plan was that I wanted some customers for Miami Carnival, but they haven't come in yet. And that's okay, because there's always Trinidad Carnival, and there'll be carnivals after that if we don't go into another lockdown.
Right. Okay.
And I'm going to start putting out t-shirts. I'm going to start putting out hats and t-shirts closer to the holiday season. So those of you who are interested, it'll be up on the website. You can put your order in. I'll make sure you guys get your stuff right away, so I can build my name up. So when I finally put out my original designs, people know who I am. So I'm not sitting there wondering, oh, I hope someone buys it. I hope someone buys it. I'm not going to lie. Like, when you put your talent out there, you get that nervousness of, wow, I hope someone likes it.
You got to advertise your site a lot.
Yeah, I got to start doing that more frequently. As much as I advertise my podcast, which is the United States of Anarchy.
Awesome. Check him out, guys.
Yeah, on the United States of Anarchy.
What do you speak about?
I talk about just about any topic except celebrity gossip.
Okay.
I don't talk about celebrity gossip. I don't talk about affairs that affect like criminal activity, unless it's something that's in the news that people could learn from that person's mistake. Case in point, the story of Daniel Hernandez. I'm pretty sure you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we all know him by another name.
Yeah.
The only reason because originally I didn't pay, when he first came out, I didn't pay him any mind, because I don't look at him as hip hop. I don't. There are two types. I've heard one of my favorite rappers, KRS-One, say this. There are two types of hip hop. You have hip hop with the lowercase h's, and you have hip hop with the big case h's. People like Daniel Hernandez represent hip hop with the lowercase h's, because they're the ones that have the money, the big chains, the girls, and they do stupidity. The ones with the big H's, they don't have that money, but they don't have the money and the clout and the popularity, but they have their integrity and they have their freedom.
I agree.
But like, the main reason what's his name? I brought him up because there was a kid that I tutored, and he was a fan of Mr. Hernandez. He was a fan of his. And he asked me when his house of cards came tumbling down, which we all know was going to happen. Yeah. He asked me, what happens to gangster rappers when they go to jail? And I didn't know how to answer it. I really did not know how to answer the question, because I didn't even know what happened to gangster rappers when they go to jail.
I didn't even classify him as one.
He wasn't. He was just someone that was gang affiliated.
Yeah.
He was gang affiliated, but he was not a gang member. And what annoyed me with him, because if you listen to part 3 of the story of Daniel Hernandez, you hear me flip out because I felt myself getting angry talking about this kid because it's like, you got out of prison, you went through all of that, you survived, you somehow survived all of this.
Yeah.
And here you are. Because if it was me that was in the situation and I had to make a public statement talking about it, I'd have said, look, kids, don't make my mistake. Don't do what I did. Like, it was not worth it. I would be the most humble person on the planet. You wouldn't even hear me speak publicly again.
Right.
You probably would never hear me speak publicly again. But no, here you are, right back in the public eye, doing the same thing. And I heard Charlemagne, the God, who I have a love-hate relationship with.
Yeah.
I have a love-hate for Charlemagne the God. I heard him say it. I heard my grandfather say this. I heard my grandmother say this. If you bump your head the first time and don't learn your lesson, the next time you get decapitated.
Yeah, pretty much.
And it's like, you didn't, and I challenged. What I did was, and I'm saying this publicly again, I put on a calling to all MCs, all rappers, unsigned, signed, battle rapper, conscious rapper, whatever. This young man said that he is the king of New York, he's the king of rap. Okay, make him prove it. Make him prove it in the one place that you can't go to jail for and you can get paid for. Make a record talking about him. Challenge him on record. Don't go at him on social media. Make him prove it on record. That's how I say it. Like, don't put hands on this guy because I made it clear I don't advocate for harm to come to him because I don't know what can happen to me tomorrow. And to the people saying, oh, this should happen to him, this happened to him, if you're not going to jump between his security to scratch his face or spit on him or try to attack him, you shouldn't be speaking on him. The only reason I brought him up was to clarify a few things that were being said about him. And of course, to get views on my podcast. Outside of that, I'd have had nothing to say about him.
Facts, okay.
Because I don't entertain stupidity. I don't even watch reality TV. I
won't talk about certain shit because I'm like, be for real. Like, I don't even want to give the motherfuckers 15 minutes.
Exactly. The one person that a lot of people enjoyed me talking about, ranting about him, was the former president, Donald Trump. Because, like, I went over his first 4 years as president. I went over his cabinet because a lot of things, when we talk politics, we focus so much on the president. We don't know who the senators are. We don't know who the state representatives are. Because a lot of people put pressure on the president, right? Because he's supposed to be the president. He's supposed to be representing the people. But he doesn't make laws. He doesn't make laws or create policies. All the president does is when things come across his desk, he says yes or no. It's the people that are in the Senate and the House of Representatives. They're the ones that are the reason that your kids didn't learn driver's ed in school, but can dissect a frog. They're the reason why we didn't get home economics in school, but I can recite lines from Shakespeare. And a lot of the skills that I needed to learn, I didn't learn until I went to college. Like, these people are the reason. But here's the thing. We don't know who they are. They don't campaign. And when they campaign, it's probably 2 weeks before the election.
Yeah, that's true.
What they need to do is what they do in Europe. When this person is running, you see the person's picture next to their name when you go to vote, and you see what their policies are. That's what they need to start doing so people can be more informed on how we vote. Because if that was the case, a lot of people would not be still in power. Mitch McConnell.
You're right.
How that old turkey neck having ass is still in power, I still don't understand.
Yeah. Oh man, I think he's trying to come for a comeback.
He's still in office. He's still
It's
representative of Kentucky.
There's still so many. He got so many people backing him up. I don't know.
You got the Trumpers.
The shit.
I call them the Trumpers. Because what they do is like I don't know if you saw what happened on January 6th. I actually laughed at it. I laughed because I'm like, this can't be real. I laughed because I'm like, no way. Malcolm X said it. America's chickens eventually will come home to roost, and that's what happened.
Yep.
All the hatred and disrespect that they had for Obama and his wife came to fruition right there. And then these people want to talk about revolutionaries. Like, how are you a revolutionary and your mom is calling the prison to make sure you get organic food so your tummy don't hurt? I'm like, what?
Insane.
When I heard that, I'm like, yo, this dude better pray he don't do any serious time.
But anyway,
yeah, but back to but I
want to thank you for being here and sharing your story and enlightening me.
Thank you for having me.
I would love for you to come back and just to talk shit sometime.
Oh yeah. I would actually like to have you on my podcast so we can talk some wrestling.
That'd be awesome. Let me know.
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's been fun. Thank you for having me, and enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thanks, guys, for being here. May the Force be with you.
May the Force be with you, fellow Jedi. Good night.